So welcome everyone to the it's the 18th,
Yep.
2022, a couple weeks before the championship. So I'm glad everybody made it, it's kind of open topic questions. I know I did send out a huge email this week about stuff, and then we have some questions from Team 31200, Random Engineers, and we can kind of get to that. But first, as always, Jay, do you have any updates? Anything you want to talk about?
There are no new updates. I think we're done with all that. So I've had a bunch of questions over the last couple weeks, so I appreciate you guys. Anybody that still has questions, feel free to send them along. So let me get into them as quickly as I can.
Anything you want to talk about? I mean, reoccurring
No, I think most of the stuff is strategy questions. So, yeah, feel free to send any questions like that you'd like, and we won't share your specific strategies. But if it's a general question, we would share that. But I haven't really had any generalized questions lately, so.
Okay. All right. We open it up for questions, and then when those run out, we'll get to Joe's. And
sure. Yep, I'm gonna pull up the email as well, so we can refer back to that. All right, questions, you guys? I'm sure everybody has questions about tournament stuff. None?
I guess I'll start.
Okay.
So given the fact we're doing the pod format, we won't set up a pit area like we would at an all-day event. Is that correct?
You can. We are going to make sure that every team has a pit table, and you can set it up, have it up there all day. You're welcome to kind of wander around and stay for the whole day, watch some other teams' games. And there was one comment I know, with the pod schedule, you don't get to see teams not in your pod games. So you're welcome to stay at the venue and do that kind of stuff. We'll have concessions through the day. But yeah, we are going to have you're going to have a pit table to be up all day. So,
okay.
If you want, it's not mandatory,
Presumably judges won't be wandering around to talk to you at your table, or no?
No, judge that format changed. That's a change from first, so they won't be coming around anymore. We are hoping.
Even without COVID, that's a change?
Yep, even without COVID.
Okay.
We are hoping to get we are hoping that the judges will be able to actually to see some games. Because that was been one comment from the judges. We don't get to see any games. But they will be there as an unofficial, just kind of viewer. Match watcher.
So Dan, I think I was talking to Brian about this in the past as well. So going into the future, I think even the robot games will be starting earlier as well. The way it's set up, because we've told you guys before that the multiple room judging sessions, that was meant to be out before before COVID. Right. So because of that, the judges need longer to get through their judging sessions, and I think we talked about even in the future robot games will start earlier as well. So
okay. Big question would be is in a future format, if the matches won't be as back to back, so that if the kids have a problem, they've got more than a couple of minutes to react to it.
Yeah, that'll be true in when we get back to doing it all day, and that was one kind of reason we really wanted to do an all day for the championship, to give it a tryout, see how it happened. But yeah, we are talking with the schedule, trying to give bigger blocks of time between the runs, because we know that is, we want to try and get our teams as much time as possible to make fixes.
So you were specifically addressing this season, right?
Yeah, well, and asking for in the future, but for this for the state championship, it's going to be fairly fast turns for them for robot games.
Not not as much, right, Lisa? I don't know how much
Right,
we're
we're
information
working on the schedule to
Okay.
build more time in between.
Okay, great.
In the future,
And
we're
then-
hoping to go back to, not back to, but to a situation where you actually leave the tables and come back, at a
Okay.
set intervals like we had before. So there'd be a sign up team. Will there be a sign up for teams for preferred pod times? Okay, there you go.
So just email me and I'll get back to you and let you know. I think the only one that's getting kind of a little bit full is the last pod. People have been talking about it, but email me what your request is. All right, any other questions? Okay. How about I go on to random engineers questions and then we'll see what comes. We'll do one at a time.
Sure.
And Dan asked the first one will be a similar question to the first one. And Joe's first one was, will teams be able to have their pit table set up all day? Or will teams only be able to have a pit set up during their pod time? But as I said before, you can use your pit table all day. We'll have 24 of them for one per team, all set up. Madison College is nice and has lots of space, so we can easily do that and keep the team separated a little bit with space. Any other questions on that?
Do we know a size of pit tables?
Oh, I will find that out. That'll be in the next email because I have to ask the venue that.
I can start on the next one if you want, Lisa. As you're making notes, it's about the
Sure.
uploading
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yep.
So we're reading the questions. I'm sure most of you guys have seen these on Slack that we got. So another question from Random Engineers. Saturday's email said that closing ceremonies would be live and would be recorded and uploaded to YouTube. Will the recording be viewable in nearly real time / live streamed? Recorded and uploaded makes it seem like the parents won't know any of the results until the team members burst out of the room where the closing ceremony is held. So the plan we have right now is we're going to do a live awards presentation. It'll be recorded at the same time, and when we're done with that, I'll upload it to YouTube. So it's not going to be a streaming situation, but depending how quickly YouTube uploads it, we usually don't do any edits. So it's just a matter of let's for instance, we start at 5. If we get done at 5:30, I'll probably have it started uploading by 5:40 or so. So depending on how quickly they get that uploaded, it'll be up live on YouTube at that point. Did he ask us a separate question or?
Yeah, the separate question.
Got a follow up on that?
Yeah.
Sorry. Give me 1 second here. There was another part of that I wanted to get to. Just give me. Okay, so the part about not knowing, because the email was saying, obviously the parents, we won't have everyone in the closing ceremony room at the same time, and the question was basically, or the concern was that the parents won't know the results. So Lisa and I had just talked about this just a few minutes ago, and I think what we can do is, because we're recording the ceremony live, we can push out a feed to a different room. Now, I don't know where that's going to be. I don't know if there's a big. I think the whole idea is to not have everybody in one big area. So we'll get a couple, at least one place outside of the ceremony hall, gym. I guess is it a gym? Yeah. To push.
Yeah.
To push out a live feed. So that won't be the YouTube
Okay.
feed, but it'll be the actual live recording as we're doing it.
Okay, and then he did ask why we are not allowing parents to attend the closing ceremony. That was a request of the venue. They don't have a problem with being at the venue with all the space that there is there. But what they had a concern with was putting everyone in basically just a couple of sets of bleachers. And that would, concerns over that. So that is why we said no parents. But yeah, doing the live, we can, which I'm pretty sure we could probably get to another room, Jay, somehow.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get you guys something somewhere somehow.
Yeah, so that they can see something.
Confident we can get people in the building at least one feed outside of the room live. So shouldn't be bad. And I'm sorry, was that Dan that had a question during that?
Yep, and you answered it exactly.
Okay, perfect. If I don't get what's on my mind out, I may forget it. So, especially when I'm reading through this and trying to answer, what I was thinking he's asking. So, okay, next one. When will pod assignments and times be published? It would be nice if the info could be available at least a week before tournament dates, so teams can plan hotel, travel, etc.
So, I would like to get that published as soon as I can. We are still, like I said, we're still kind of tweaking the schedule, trying to figure out how to get teams the most time between their rounds. And if we can do that at all in there. We do have another rule change with the judging is that robot games and judging need to finish at the same time because they can't deliberate without robot game scores. So that's another kind of weird glitch that but weird thing we got to work around and figure out how to do differently than we've had in the past. Because in the past, we've always could do judging in the morning, the judges deliberate, came out, talked to the teams, finished up deliberation. And it kind of, we got the scores to them, they finished up deliberation, and then, we were doing ceremonies. So this year's a little different with first changes. So it was a long answer to that question.
Yeah, I mean, it is a good thing. I mean, obviously, Dan, so what you were talking about earlier about the time between rounds, we're aware, we know. Like, we had a long discussion about it, and Brian threw a bunch of stuff together. We're trying to get as much time in there and, not push everybody out to 9 o'clock at night. We still have to get done, but we're trying to, maximize, get you guys as much time to tweak or whatever as possible. So we definitely know the issue. So.
You hope you don't need it.
Well, I mean,
Right.
You hope you don't, but who hasn't had that happen where you're like, oh my gosh, we need to go, push this out, or we forgot to load this, or, so we know. Okay, sorry, I couldn't fully understand. Are the robot run completion a prereq to robot design presentation?
No. So the robot runs need to be completed in order for the judges to deliberate.
Okay, got it. So the format itself for the participants is not going to be different, just the deliberation will happen at a later time, which teams don't have to worry about, right? It happens behind the scenes for us.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Oh, I understand what you're saying. I get the question. Sorry, my brain was kind of mixed up there for a minute. I was... Okay, one more, and I'm not sure if we're going to have an answer to this one yet, but I'll shoot it at you, Lisa. What happens if some team members must be in quarantine or isolating due to COVID on the tournament's date? Is there any opportunity for them to participate virtually in the judging sessions?
I'm going to say the preliminary response right now is that we will have internet available. So if there is a team member that needs to be virtual, that they can participate. It will be up to the team, as it has been for the other events, that you have a phone with them on, or a tablet, or a computer. That we will not be able to provide that, but we will make sure that we have internet access and that type of stuff for this to happen.
Okay, I'm gonna just kind of look back through. I don't think there were any. We had the one. I think Francesca's here. Is there still a spectator limit at state like there was at regionals? And Lisa answered yes. It's the same as regionals and sectionals. 2 spectators per team member and 1 each for 2 coaches. I think that's
There is. There is access to an elevator, which will be for judging, will be upstairs. And there is access to an elevator. Other than that, the rest of the pits and the robot competition is all within a half a, I don't know how to explain it. Like it's both ground level, but it kind of goes down like a half a
level type of thing.
It's kind of a split level, but there's ramps and everything, so that you don't have to do stairs. Depending on who your spectators are and stuff. So I did not say that in my email, but I will get that out in the email too, for anyone who's interested.
So we did get a couple, just to share a little bit of behind the scenes stuff, and not too much that I'll get killed here. But we were trying to put together a little bit of, every time I do that, Lisa's going, oh my God, what's he going to say now? I'm waiting for my phone to beep and it's a text message saying, stop talking. So we're trying to put together a couple fun activities for the kids in the waiting period. We hope it's not going to be too long, since the judging... between judging and the awards. So if you guys have anything cool that you think might scale up to a bunch of teams and stuff, let us know so we can kind of get some stuff together. I know Julia's working on a couple things.
She is always working on a couple things.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the couple ideas that were being kicked around the other day were pretty good. So,
Yep.
If any of you guys have something like Peggy, you guys are really good at team building stuff, and anything, like a, what's that thing called? Caboodle, or what's it called? Kahoot? What is the thing she's Kahoot? Yeah, some
Right?
stuff like that. I don't know. But there's a couple things being worked on. If you guys have something that seems really fun or cool that you think will scale up well, let us know. And, pretty quickly, so we can check it out and see if we can do it. How many tables will there be in the room where presentations are taking place? Do we have to display our team boards at the pit table? Trying to understand if judges walking around to see the displays at the pit table.
Okay, there will be one table in the one that you can count on. And then you don't have to display your boards at the pit table, because the judges will not be walking around and looking at any of the pit tables. But if you're there, or if there for a little while, you want to leave it up and go ice skate, you can go do that. There's a really cool pond in Madison that's like about a mile away from Madison College that is, free to ice skate at. So that's why I say it, because I'm kind of wanting to go out there myself.
Well, you'll be busy, so.
I know. I have to do a different thing.
So the pit area is basically, think of it as your, it's where you guys are just, it's for everyone else in the pits, right? The judges won't be wandering around. Well, I guess, maybe during lunch or something, they may scoot down there, but it's not, there's no penalty for not having a pit up. The pit is not a requirement. It's not bonus points. It's not negative points. So you guys do what you feel like you want to do. I mean, some teams just like putting a pit area up. It's just kind of a fun little, sharing area. So.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
I do have a couple of questions, not related to state, but general coaching questions. Whenever it is appropriate, I can bring them up.
Yeah, bring them up.
Okay, this is, I'm representing 53650. This is a rookie team, and I'm a first-time coach. When it comes to testing methods for robot design and robot runs, I'm a software engineer by profession, so I've been trying to coach kids applying those software testing principles. But what kind of testing methods do typically do you apply for robot runs outside of the unit testing and regression testing kind of things?
So that's kind of a coach to coach question.
Correct, yes.
Obviously, obviously the proof out of concept is on the robot board when you're doing your run. So that's what I can answer to. But if any other coaches have some information to share there, feel free.
We have had the kids just make a chart at times and run the robot run, say 10 times, and keep track of, which ones are working each time to kind of get themselves percentages of how accurate their runs are. That's one thing we've done as a team.
Okay.
You'll want to share
yes.
that information with the judges as well. So if you have a chart like that, make sure you take it into to your robot design judges and such.
Okay. Great input. Thank you so much. On the same lines, this repetition is another major problem that we have been facing. Like anytime we run the same mission like 10 times, for some reason, 7th, 8th, and 9th time, or 7th and 8th time, randomly the robot completely behaves differently, and then we reboot it, and then suddenly it is acting normal again. So is this, and we are suspecting some type of a battery problem or something like that, but is this something that you typically see with other EV3s?
All the time. It's the joy of FLL.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
So I can tell you just from previous coaching experience, we have in the past had issues like that when we were running stuff using time instead of running rotations or degrees. So if you can, just try to evaluate where your time blocks, if you're using them, are applicable, because the time blocks can be more susceptible to lower voltages. For some reason. So just do your testing out of that. There's a place and a time for, time blocks, and a place and a time for degrees, and work out what works for you guys. We in the past had a couple battery packs that were going bad, and we had to run them down. So we had to burn in, every time we would charge, we would have a spike, like a voltage spike that would cause runs to go bad for the first 5 or 10 minutes, right? And then we would program into that error, and then when the voltage would normalize, it would, we'd be having to undo stuff. So we used to have to burn in, like let the motors run at 100% for 3 minutes before we even started programming. So little stuff like that. So
okay, thank you.
Sure.
One other question. So we were, one of the FTC teams came out to coach us the other day, and they were showing how they did their robot design presentations from 4 or 5 years ago. And at that point, the judges were around a table, and the team was actually running their robot and doing their robot design presentation. We are new again, and it seems like the format is very different this time because there was no robot board in the presentation. So do we typically just use slides and talk through our design, or is there something teams do? Something else teams?
You'll need to talk through your design. I mean, and maybe some of the coaches on the call could give you some, suggestions on, some best practices that way. But yeah, it's talking through now. There's no robot table.
Okay.
And that was a first decision, I believe, right? First
Yes, it
took
was.
the tables out of the judging rooms.
Yep.
So
Okay.
I mean, not blaming them. I'm just letting you know that's where that it is different. It used to be.
Yeah.
They're correct. There used to be a table up until last live season. So year before last, we had tables in the judging rooms. So they won't be there in the future either, unless they change back. That was part of the format change.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Sure.
I have to say, I kind of like that they took those robot tables out because it focused more on the design, and it always seemed to be that the robots never ran well in those rooms anyhow. So the kids would get all flustered, and they felt like, oh, the robot's not working, so we're not doing well. But it is supposed to be focused on design anyhow, so it's nice that it keeps it more on the design.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I've heard teams, a significant amount, that say they wish we had the tables back in the rooms. But your point is good that, like I was saying a minute ago, the testing out of your concepts and stuff is on the robot board, right? So that's where you prove your concepts there, or you prove your programming there. So yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I would echo what Peggy said for sure, that having that in has made it much more of a presentation. Our kids never had really planned a lot previous, and it was all about like, oh, quick, set it up and change the attachments. And there was so much kind of chaos around that. Sometimes they didn't get their thoughts out as well, where now they know they have to go in prepared to really discuss the robot and their strategy and how they built it and what they did, and like be able to talk through programming really well without just running a robot to show it. And I think that's a great skill that they're developing.
I think the table being gone, coupled with not handing literature to the judges, made some of the program heavy or sensor heavy, my block heavy teams feel like that their programming wasn't being evaluated well, right? Mm-hmm. So I get that point as well, but I do agree, Peggy, that yeah. I mean, you can, what the robot's going to do, you can see that on the game board. So yeah, that's.
Also, the FTC team that was coaching us, they recommended that we prepare a core values presentation, and we did that in sectionals. And we got feedback to reconsider doing a core values presentation because they said core values is more of question and answer. So any inputs in there?
Yeah, that's another first change, is they are evaluating core values more through the whole 21 minutes before that. I don't remember the exact, but they're evaluating the core values through the project, through the robot design, all the way through the interview. So yeah, the core values presentation is no longer a necessity, or even, not really having time to kind of talk about it. Is more of a question answer.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm sure they explained to you that there used to be separate rooms, separate judging sessions for all that. So you would do you would go from one room to the other and do your presentation, or whatever each room was. Like you'd have your core values judging, and then you would have your robot design, programming, and then you would have what's the other one? Sorry, project. Yeah, sorry. So you would actually leave one area and go to the other. And now it's all in one room. So if you haven't seen the flow chart, make sure you guys are evaluating that and making sure you know what you should be presenting and how much time you should be allocating to that. And thank you for being a rookie coach, and sticking through it. And congratulations for getting to state in your rookie year. Good job.
Thank you. It's been a challenge for everyone.
It absolutely is. It's a
Very
challenge. It's a
rewarding,
challenge for a very experienced team. So
yes. Thank you.
Lisa, did you say that the judging rooms are actually on a different floor?
Yes, they are. They're on the
Okay.
second floor.
But it's not a problem that getting to the elevators. We have a cart and all that to get up there that I'm going to say an elevator is probably going to make it a lot easier.
Yes.
So.
Yep. There's definitely, actually a very nice elevator. It's a fairly nice size. It's not really where you're like, like shoulder to shoulder with people. It's a nice size elevator.
Okay. Sounds good.
I just uploaded to the chat the judging flow chart in case anybody can't find it or would like it. It's there.
Are the judging rooms classroom size? So like at the last sectional, we were in a gym, and the echo factor was definitely something the kids had to consider.
The judging rooms are big college class, not huge college classrooms, but they're like twice the size of a normal high school classroom. Does that help?
Yeah, but not like a gym or anything.
No.
Okay.
No.
I bet you were in the red lane at the MRA sectional.
Yep.
I have to say, I used to do presentations in school gymnasiums all the time, and I have never been in a worse presentation space in my life. Like, we couldn't hear. I'm sure you went through this too. I felt so bad for them. I don't know how they heard a thing with the blower going. It was crazy. That was pretty funny. Yay for classrooms.
Yeah. We tried to listen to the recordings of our judgings after the fact, and no, we gave up. The kids were straining, and it was. But hey, we got through it.
Amen.
Yep, all 4 rooms are fairly nice classrooms.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think, the part of Madison College we're in, this Truax campus, that was just all they redid that whole thing like 5 years ago. So it's pretty new and pretty nice.
This table that's going to be available to the kids in the room, is it something really lightweight that if they need to move it out of their way, the kids won't have any problem shifting it out of their way? Or
If it's, most likely it's going to be on rollers, because I think all of their classroom stuff is all on rollers.
okay.
You know what I mean? It's like they can rearrange it. So I'm pretty sure it should be movable, but I will double check that and just make sure before I say something, because I'm not at Madison College all the time, but what I remember, that's what it was. So.
And I just realized some people may have gotten here via the Slack link and not through the email. So I guess we just need to make sure everybody knows that it is a mask required event. Like, for sure, no matter what statutes happen or don't happen, it'll be mask event. So it just makes it easier for everybody to figure out, is it, isn't it, whatever. So.
Slack invite. The other thing is, we will have a couple of raffles that we will. Yeah, I've got some donations of stuff. So
Nice. What is it?
it's going to be a surprise. I'm not going to tell you.
What do you mean? What?
Okay. Slack invite. Let's see where I can get the link here.
What are you looking for?
The Ryan asked, can you please share the Slack invite? And so I was going to get that.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay.
Did you find it or?
Yep.
Okay.
It is. And for anybody who wants it, I just threw it up in the chat. So. These are.
Did anybody get here through Slack and not through, and you did not get the link or the email from Lisa? I'm trying to figure out if there's anything in that email we need to share that you guys did not see. So if you didn't get your email on Saturday, let us know and we'll kind of go over any points in there that need to be covered. I think we kind of covered most of the stuff.
Oh, yeah, should I, okay, the other thing I can share with you guys today is where teams will get to advance to.
Oh,
Is anybody interested?
nah.
Ooh.
Did we get 2 for Razorback?
Oh, we have more than just that. So
I didn't know we were sharing that today.
I will share that
That
today.
and a raffle. I got all kinds of new stuff coming.
Okay, so we and this will be, this is what we've been offered, and I said yes to. I should say that. We have one team going to the World Festival. There'll be 2 teams that will be able to attend the Razorback, and then there's a virtual event in California that we've been invited to also. And one team will be sent in for the Global Innovation Award nominations this year.
For those that don't know, our world invite is to Houston this year.
There is no Detroit
Right.
event.
So, yay.
Yay.
Very cool. How does that work actually? So is this the last chance for advancement to world, or will those other events be also chances to advance to world?
No. So this will be the last chance for a Wisconsin team to go on to the World Festival. And then we'll be selecting 3 other teams to advance to, 2 to Razorback and 1 to the Western. What were they calling it? I just saw it in my email here. The Western Edge Invitational.
That's all virtual, you said.
That one's all virtual, yeah, because California's all virtual.
Yeah.
The entire state.
Yeah, it's not really
Yeah.
there. It's kind of
Yep, it's
just
just
over there.
yeah.
It's kind of like Chicago.
So Lisa, just to clarify, so the champion gets the bid to Worlds and then 2nd and 3rd to Razorback and 4th to California. Is that the order or is it a different setup?
The Champions Award will get to go to the Worlds. The other 3, Brian and I need to sit and discuss because they're basically all the same level. And choosing California over Razorback, whatever, we're gonna be discussing that, and I don't want to give that out right now and say the wrong thing.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Okay.
No, that's not how we do it, Jay.
It's arm wrestling or thumb
Oh,
wrestling.
Dan.
Yeah.
All right. Can you elaborate more on the Global Innovation 1, the GIA?
The GIA. So Global Innovation Award or nomination goes to the first place project team. So the team that will receive the first place innovation project award will get the nomination to Global Innovation Awards. Global Innovation Awards are basically like they select 1 or 2 teams per region that have to fill out a form, and I know Peggy and Heather both can answer that because they've both been through that process. And then from there, they select the top 20 teams, and they go to a cool event that, like I said, Heather and Peggy can probably talk about much better than
It
I
is
can,
virtual.
So.
It's going to be virtual again this year. So the top 20 will compete virtually over the summer.
Yep.
Will there be any international teams in that 20?
Yes. Well, more than likely. It's 150 nominees and they're judged anonymously, and then they select the top 20, but they're from all over the world. Can I ask is it the top scoring project team that moves on for GIA, or if say for instance
who wins the Project Innovation Award first place?
Okay.
So does that mean that what if the first place project award happened to be one of the other top ones for World or Razorback or California? Would they would then get the project award, right?
Okay.
Or maybe, or
Yeah,
Push
I'll
that
need
one to
to
Brian.
talk with Brian
Yeah,
about that, because we need to figure out what first rules are on that from judging perspective.
How many teams from our region go to Worlds? One team. Our
Yeah,
champion.
only one team this year.
So our champion, state champion, will get the berth to Worlds.
In years past, we've been able to have two because we've had 400 teams. So you get more opportunity the bigger your region is. And we only had 200 teams this year. So we are in the lower regions, which everybody's lower. So it's not just us, as if I can say that. I mean, there's a lot of other regions are down with their numbers also.
Well, and there's only one Worlds this year. Normally there's two World events.
Yeah, Worlds
Yeah,
overall is just smaller.
Yep.
Right.
Now, I've seen dates for Worlds and Razorback. Do they have dates out for California and GIA yet this year?
Western is May 13th through the 15th.
So
All that
go ahead.
May time frame, yeah.
Is World virtual also? It is not at this point. Okay, yeah, it's Houston. So as far as I can tell at this point, it's meant to be. What's Texas? So they're probably all in.
Yeah, but it's first deciding that.
I was
First-
kidding.
Yeah,
I haven't
first said right now it's in person.
Yeah. So, and everything we're saying, obviously, any of this stuff can change with the wind here. I mean, whatever COVID does and whatever is put in place, that we can't control, we'll have to roll with it. But anybody else got anything? Hey, Jen, I saw you sneak in.
Yeah, I missed it all. So I'll be looking at the video later.
Yeah, it's
was at a
recorded.
funeral, so sadly I missed this guy.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, it's recorded, so yeah, it's for everybody. I'll try to get this uploaded. I don't know if I'll be able to do it tonight or not, but it'll definitely be up tomorrow morning-ish. Can you elaborate a bit more on Razor Invitational, the Razorback?
So, yeah, Razorback is that similar May 13th through the 15th timeframe. It's at I can't think of where. It's at a university campus.
Arkansas?
Arkansas.
Arkansas Razorbacks?
Yeah. Yes. It's kind of a fun event. I mean, I think we've had many teams go there in the past. It seems to be a blast. One of the cool things that they do there, besides kind of running a normal event, is to actually team you up with another team from somewhere else. And then you guys basically put your robots together and, finish run as many missions as you can on the table. I don't know if you have any better explanation of that.
I haven't. I mean, I've heard of that concept before, but yeah, almost like the Alliance type of thing in FTC.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, FRC. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I saw them do that in Chicago one time as well, the Alliance thing. It was pretty fun, but I'm not sure if it's the exact same or not.
What I was reading is that you can run both robots at the same time. There's a few other different rules. I want to say you can move one mission out of your way by hand, or there was a lot of little things probably to make it work a lot better trying to run two at the same time, but it sounded like a fun event that they do with that.
Yeah, so the Razorback is an invitational. It's not I don't want to say it's not sanctioned, but it's not all the first rules and stuff may not be exactly the same. So you'll have to, if you go there, you'll have to check into what their rules and regulations are, because you can expect probably some differences. Well, obviously, if you're letting you run two robots on a table, yeah. So.
Well, they do. That's in addition to the
Right.
normal, from what I've heard, the normal, what you experience at a normal tournament.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think they said they had 6 robot tables and you actually have 5 competition runs.
Okay.
So you actually on your regular ones, and then
Yep.
that alliance thing was maybe even another different day of the
Yeah.
event.
And that's what Chicago did. Chicago runs as their standard course, 5 competition rounds, 1 practice round. But they run like 20 tables at one time in a big. I went to the Elgin, Illinois. I think it was their quarterfinals about 3 years ago, and it was a big convention center, and they had 2 halves to it, and they would run one half, 20, 30 tables at one time, and then they'd run the other half while they were being scored. And they ran 5 competition rounds. So the rules state at least 3 competition rounds. So.
Oh.
So does anybody want to hear about the Western Edge Invitational? I found my paperwork on that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to read what they had to say. They said the Western Edge Invitational will continue as a California Southern tradition of having teams compete in an on-the-spot event. During this event, teams will be given a new mission that they will have to rebuild and reprogram their robot to complete. Teams will be given 6 hours to practice and then compete in 2 live remote rounds the next day.
Nice.
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
Is that like additional to like the regular tournament, or is that take a part of instead of the robot game?
I think that's instead. Because there's going to be 80 teams from around the country and several international teams who have achieved significant recognition in their own region. Ooh. So the registration fee for that would be $750. I know for Razorback and for the World Festival, it's more than that. That's per team. Let's see. And then they have a team welcome package, which includes a sticker, day-specific item / activity to a specific competition day, fun swag surprises, possible swag from competing team if they choose to mail it to us, bricks on the spot match, or bricks for on the spot match, and a presentation medal. That's all the information I have. Besides the link to sign up a team. So
It sounds like this is something they've done other years, though. Is that?
yeah, we used to be, a few years ago, in Los Angeles, they used to do a Legoland competition, but I haven't heard why that. I'm kind of suspicious because the FLL partner who ran that is no longer a partner, which is probably maybe why it's no longer happening. But I think they've done this before, just now opening it up to, more teams across the world.
Yeah, the Legoland one was very popular. I had a team that went to Worlds, and they went to Legoland in separate years. They said Legoland they enjoyed more than the Worlds Festival, so it's supposed to be really, really fun. So kind of a shame that's not around.
Yeah.
Anybody else got any questions? Format or anything we didn't cover?
I have a question. So, you guys, I think you decided on the pod structure. I don't I don't know exactly what it looks like yet. I don't guess you do either quite yet. But for the tables that we'll have, are those going to be just for our time period, like for presenting to other teams and stuff like that? Or will they be there for the whole day? Or like, what does the logistics of that look like?
That you will have your table for the whole day.
For the whole day. Okay.
Yep. You can go, your team can, be an 8 o'clock team, and then they want to watch the robot games for the rest of the day. Your table is there. It's yours until cleanup time, obviously.
Good. Thank you. We still don't know our own schedules, but yeah.
Not yet. Like I said, we're working on what we really are trying to do is make sure that we're giving you guys that maximum amount of time between robot rounds and kind of messing with the schedule a little bit to see what we can do.
Yeah, I think that'll be helpful.
Yeah.
Based on my experience with past events, it's challenging to be able to make changes in such a short period of time if needed, right?
Yep, and that's what we're trying to address.
Cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know, will this also be streamed, live streamed?
That's a good question.
That is a good question. It depends on if I can get one volunteer to volunteer.
I was going to ask you if he volunteered or not.
Yeah, Dustin hasn't volunteered yet.
I'll work on it from this end too.
Okay.
That was fun. So I didn't even make an announcement. Did you guys see the MRA stuff that I put up? Some of the streaming? Did anybody see that?
Yes, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
And we had people watching in different parts of the country. Like, I didn't see their emails until later, but like we had people going crazy on email for us in between matches and stuff. So I thought that was such a neat way to help expand to so many, grandparents and friends and Lego lead teams in other states and all of that. Very cool.
So we had, there were some Wi-Fi issues in the building. And I thought Justin did a great job on it. So afterwards, I got all the footage and I cut out all the dead spots, and that's uploaded to YouTube. So if you guys haven't seen that, go check that out.
Very nice.
The third round where I was emceeing is on there.
Yeah, it's good. And I mean, obviously, I apologize. We just ran out of bandwidth. We couldn't keep it going, but we got a good hour or so of actual, 4 tournament tables or 2 tournament tables, 4 teams running. I think you guys are on there, Dan.
Yeah.
So yeah, go check that out. I cut out all the dead space between, and it actually worked really well. So
awesome.
I actually don't even think I told you I uploaded that, Lisa.
No, you didn't, and I haven't looked at it.
Haha, surprise.
As long as you didn't do the third round.
Well, everything that we had, everything that was streamed,
oh yeah, I think he was
cut
done.
out the parts in between different, when we were moving teams to different sections and stuff. So I think we got a good hour or so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to do more of that, guys. I thought that was fun. I thought that was a really good time.
Yeah, we appreciated it. We appreciated it too from our side. So
good.
Yeah.
Any other questions, guys? So Lisa did share the Slack link for anybody that came in a little bit late. If you're not on there, feel free to join that Slack channel. We try to make sure everything that is brought up there is brought up in these conversations as well, so nobody gets information that other people don't, or nobody doesn't get information that others do. But it's just a nice little place where we can send out messages really quick, and you can get a hold of referees and judges pretty quickly that way as well. As we get closer to your tournament time, I'm sure you guys will have questions, so I always tell people, if you have a question, you need to get a hold of Lisa. Just reply back to that Cargo Connect email that she sends out to you guys. And that will go back to her, and she will either answer it or pass it along to whoever needs to get it. So,
I have maybe I don't know. I don't know if it's answerable. What's the typical range for robot game scores at this next level, at the championship level, for I don't know, however you want to characterize that? Median, upper, lower quartile.
I'll leave that to other teams to share if they want to.
Okay.
because I've seen a couple of their runs, and I don't want to give out any.
Oh, and I don't mean current teams or anything, just kind of like historically, just so that we know that we're shooting for, at least the middle.
So the game changes every year. The scoring criteria changes every year. The amount of points change every year. Some years there are 800 points to be had. I'm making stuff up. Some years there's 400. So it's kind of hard to compare one season to the
without
to the
doing
next.
some sort of statistical analysis.
And even so, the missions are completely different. So I wouldn't compare. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, so to give you an example, our team typically at our regional, which is often one of the very early regionals, does pretty well because they get started right away. So like the 1 year they won the robot game, usually they're in the top 3 at their sectional or at their regional. Then when they get to sectional, they've always improved on their way to sectional, with the exception of this year, because it was so tight. And often they're still like maybe in the top 5 or so. And I will tell you that they always improve going to state, like increase their score, and they have yet to break the top half at state. It seems like there's always a huge jump between sectionals and state as far as so if they improve 30 or 50 points, they do not hang in the same kind of area as they had at the sectional.
It also
That's been our experience.
Super helpful information.
And do remember as well that the robot game it only counts for 25% of your score. So
yes, that has
I should say the robot rankings.
In certain cases. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, we've had before teams in the past that had the highest score and didn't advance. We've had teams that were pretty far down the list and advanced, so and won a championship award. So obviously, the robot games matter. I don't want to say it doesn't.
Sure.
But just remember it's only a part of what we're doing. So and Brian just joined us. Hey, Brian.
Hey.
Anybody have any questions for Brian now that he's here?
You get one person slacking the asking. We will be using the same flow chart, the same meeting, the same judging format as the regionals and sectionals. So that is the prescribed format we will be using.
And we shared that out, Brian. So
okay, perfect.
I think you caught us on our downside here. So if anybody has anything, we can stick around and let you ask Brian. Oh, what was the one thing, Lisa? Was that something that we needed to talk to Brian later about, or was it something that he just...
We'll talk to him later about it.
Okay.
Yep.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
It's not the first time, but...
All right.
All right. Well, I think that's it, guys. You guys know how to get a hold of everybody if you need us.
We'll be here next week.
Thanks, everyone.
Great. Thank you all.
Bye.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
See you guys.